Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new patch review. December patch is here and there are a lot of exciting changes. As usual, we're going to take notes to all the things that we will check out in the sandbox afterwards. First and foremost, added a new hero, Raven, to Hero Labs. We're going to check out Raven later in this video. Added park theming to Purple Lane, added park backdrop to the park side of the map. So this is just some design updates on the map. A tree model to new visual style. Added player collision. Okay, that's cool. And now you can see their top 3 heroes on the leaderboard. This is similar to what Overwatch already does. It's pretty cool. It gives you like a better idea of what the top players play. Post-game survey moved to final score screen. That's fine. Muting gun player now also silences map drawings, pings, and chat wheel messages. This is great. This is great. Because a lot of the time when someone was griefing your game, even if you muted them, they could still do pings and chat wheel messages. Very, very, very annoying. Cool. All right. Don't worry, we're getting to the juicy stuff soon. Added telemetry HUD option to inset it, which can be used to monitor the frame rate and network conditions. The telemetry HUD can be enabled under settings game. New learn to play tutorial, nice. In collaboration with Toasty Ghosty. All right. Crouch toggle, standard flights, flick stick. Okay. Added versioning system to configure the outdated configures are unloaded. Okay. Then we have miscellaneous gameplay. Added an extra competitive option to allow players to control what type of players are placed on their team. If you prefer to play with higher levels of coordination, communication, and competitiveness, then you can use this option to tell the matchmaker to build your team with like-minded allies. This option will sometimes be inactive in scenarios where the pool is very shallow, for instance, large portions of Eternus, off-peak hours like 5 a.m. and long queues, etc. But otherwise, in most normal scenarios, the matchmaker will attempt to find you similar players. Well, first they implemented ranked and casual queue as separate, and then they realized we didn't have enough player base for that, so then they made ranked and casual into the same queue, and now they're trying to like bring back kind of semi-ranked so that if you want a more competitive environment, you won't have like people that are, for instance, trying a new hero or want to try a new build. So this means that if you're going to test something, then you can probably untick that thing. The way I see it, though, it seems like it still affects your rank in the same way. So that's something to have in mind. But you can now at least decide if you want to be in like a tryhard lobby or a more casual lobby. So I think that's a good middle way that might be better for the queue times than having two completely separate modes. The new extra competitive option, incoming chat and lane preference settings, are now collected within a queue options button on the dashboard below the profile area. Okay. They also reverted triple stacking in Eternus, but you can still triple stack in Ascendant. All right. I think that makes sense because in Eternus, having triple stacks in Eternus just basically wins you the game almost every single time. Oh, this is good. The matchmaker will now try to prioritize each team having at least 2 frontliners when it has the option to do so. This is great because in a lot of games, the matchmaking felt too random, and usually the team that actually had beefy frontliners would almost always win, like Mo and Krill, Abrams, Kelvin, Viscus, Shiv, and so yeah, this is great. If they can try to balance out the frontliners a little bit, that's going to make matchmaking much better. Ability range stat and ability duration stat now is a diminishing or stacking. This is also, I think, a good thing because one thing that separates Deadlock from a lot of other MOBAs is how much you can change the duration and range and cooldown of things. We discussed this earlier, how cooldown reduction is so damn overpowered in this game. So I'm also going to assume that some of that is going to be reduced. But adding diminishing stacking just means that the more you stack of it, the less you will gain from each individual value. And I think this is a great thing. And I think most stats in the game should have diminishing stacking to avoid being able to have like a Dynamo ult that covers the entire mid-boss pit or a Mo and Krill ult that lasts for 7 seconds. So this isn't really going to affect all heroes, but it's going to affect the heroes that would really like to stack one specific stat like range and duration. Fire rate now has a minimal final value of -50. So this is not a fire rate cap. What this is a fire rate reduction cap, meaning that if you get Kelvin beamed, or if you get hit by Mystic Slow or Suppressor or other abilities that lower your fire rate, you cannot go lower than 50% of your original fire rate without items, which I think is fine because most heroes with weapon items, they will definitely build some sort of fire rate. So getting down to that value is probably going to be rare anyway, but it's just to like, so you sometimes, because there are some scenarios where you get hit by multiple fire rate slows and you end up just not being able to shoot your gun. And I think they just want to avoid that scenario because that feels so bad to play. Heroes now at plus 0.5 sprint and they nerfed. Okay, so this is something like I buy entering speed on every single hero because it's just so damn good. And I think they understand how powerful sprint is. So they're trying to alleviate more of that into the hero and less into the boots. Either way, I'm still going to buy it every game. Carrying Urn now sets and limits your move speed to a fixed 13. This includes things like Ivy airdrop. It no longer provides sprint. The speed cannot be reduced or increased. Oh, shit. Okay. So that's a big nerf to Ivy and Haze and so on, even to my Paradox build a bit because you do like Kinetic Carbine and Veil Walker and stuff. Same also with Goo Ball ult. I'm curious though, the speed cannot be reduced. Does that mean you can just run straight through? This is one thing I'm curious about. Does that mean that you cannot slow the people running with Urn? Do you have to stun them? Because if so, it's going to be really hard to catch up with them because in this game normally you get slowed a lot when you get hit by bullets because it takes away the sprint speed, but this is just a fixed 13 move speed. So shooting a trooper on a zipline causes other troopers near it to dismount. Okay, that's a nice little quality of life thing because that was really awkward. Oh, also I forgot this. Urn spawn point now alternates left and right, starting with left rather being random. So now you're gonna see, wait a minute, but that depends on what side you're on, no? Okay, well, it's an error in phrasing, yeah. Either way, learning which side the Urn spawns on first is going to be very important because that's where one of the first team fights will break out. Flying over buildings no longer causes you to get zapped. Only standing on the building does. Okay. Patron HP reduced. Down patron HP reduced. Patron HP now gross starting. Interesting. So this means that they're minus 25% health at 20 minutes, 0 at 30 minutes, and 25% at 40 minutes. So this just means that the patron has less HP early game. And when you get in a really long game, it's harder to kill it. I understand this because late game, the patron usually just gets fried because everybody has so much damage. So this is a way to make the patron health scale with the power level of the players in the game. I think this is a good change. I think that makes sense. It's also harder to just straight up backdoor when you're super in-game. Added a tick-based soul system. It gives the bottom 2 net worth players on the team a small amount of souls per second. The amount of souls available to distribute to the bottom 2 players is based on the souls gathered by your team. This occurs after the laning phase. Interesting. So this is similar to, there was an old MOBA called Strife where they had a similar system where the support would always get a percentage of gold from the other players so that you still would be able to buy items even though you weren't last hitting. This is pretty interesting. It's also going to help with matchmaking a bit because sometimes if you get placed in a lobby where the rank disparity is big, then the lower farm heroes, they're going to have a little catch-up mechanism. Added new limiting function for the soul or duplication abused during the laning phase. You shouldn't experience any real difference in normal gameplay. Okay, so this players can only participate in 4 soul orb share events per trooper wave, being declared a lower priority. A lower priority player is now counted for when deciding how many souls to generate. So basically what this means, so a few players, especially in higher elo, what they would do, they would clear a wave really fast, and then they would use movement abilities or sprint to get to another lane very quickly and shove the same wave, and therefore farm twice as much souls. This is something called double soaking. It was something that they removed a while ago, and then it came back because they made the map wider. But because there are things like heavy melee canceling, majestic leap, all these kind of different abilities, and maybe not majestic leap because you buy that later, it was still abused by some people. So basically the way it works now is that you can only get a maximum of 4 soul orbs from 1 wave. So if you clear your wave fast and go to gank somewhere else, if that person is still fighting the same wave, you're not going to get orbs from that wave. So now double soaking is officially dead. There's no way to double soak. I think this is good because together with heavy melee canceling, double soaking just became so stupid. So yeah, they also reverted a few changes. Guardians now deal 25% more damage to troopers, take more damage from troopers and players. Okay, so these are all the changes they originally made to fix the soul orb share issue. Now they reverted all of these because they added in this fix instead. Okay, all right. Then we have weapon items. it seems like most weapon items just have an overall power level reduction. Bullet resist reduction, weapon damage reduction, cooldown increase, weapon damage reduction, threshold increased, weapon damage versus NPCs reduced. Yeah, this is a complete downscaling of all the tier 1 weapon items. Resto shot actually got halved on weapon damage. Berserker now builds into Frenzy. Ooh, interesting. And active reload actually got buffed quite a lot with the amount of ammo. Fleetfoot nerf. These are all minor changes. Here we go. This is something a lot of people were talking about, how Spellslinger Headshots was by far the weakest item when it came out because it was 3% spirit power. And the problem with that was that you would need to have a certain amount of spirit power before you would even get a lot of value out of it. Now, it basically works like a budget escalating exposure. So every time you headshot with a 1.5 second cooldown, I believe, you gain 3% spirit amp. So that means 3% increased spirit damage to the target. This is definitely a lot better than the old one. I still don't think that it's like a great item compared to how much you get from escalating, but it's also cheaper. Actually, we'll have to try. I think it's going to be pretty decent on Infernus now. All right, Point Blank now provides 20% melee resistance. Ooh, that's nice. I also think this makes sense because Point Blank is supposed to be that close combat tanky item. I buy this on Bebop almost every game now. I guess I play the tank bot build. I think it makes perfect sense to add melee resistance to this item. Toxic bullets buffed a bit. Alchemical fire spirit power reduced. Holy, that's a big change. So they're trying to make sharpshooter to actually be more like a long range nuke item now instead of just like a regular weapon item. So it actually reduces your fire rate and movement speed. But now you actually get 30% more damage as long as you're in long range than before. So this is actually a crazy buff for kinetic carbine builds on Paradox because when you have carbine, you usually have more than enough movement speed anyway. And you usually do a combo where you carbine, wall, and swap. So you're not really going to be affected by the fire rate. This is going to make this item a higher priority for me, at least when I play the Veilwalker Paradox build. I don't think it's that good on Vindicta and Talon because they rely on the fire rate much more as well as the movement speed. But it's cool to see that they are making these items stand out more. I think it's very important to not feel like every item is just another item that just buffs a stat here and there. So yeah, that's cool. I like that. Titanic Mag increased melee resistance even more. They really don't want melee builds to have fun, by the way. You can get a lot of melee resistance right now. Alchemical Fire added alternate desaturated variant for friendly versions. This is good because it's really hard to see if Alchemical Fire is a friendly or enemy. Frenzy now builds from Berserker. Grants Berserker passive, increases bonus per stack to 8% damage, provides 12 ammo, 10% bullet resist, stat bonuses when 50% below unchanged. Wow. That's a stacked item now. Holy. That's a stacked item. Wow. Obviously, it means it's more expensive too, but I think a lot of tank builds would build Berserker early and then sell it to get Frenzy later. So, yep. That's a sick item. Crippling Headshot debuff will now stack from different sources diminishingly. Yeah, this is the same as a lot of other stats in this game are getting. It's the diminishing treatment. It just basically means that the stacks are multiplicative and not additive, which makes sense. Shadow Weave spot radius. Oh, they nerfed it again. Lucky Shot, small change. Silencer build-up, difficulty increase. This also makes sense because Silencer was just as easy to build up as Toxic Bullets. And to me, that didn't make sense. I feel like this item is so impactful that it needs to have a more difficult build-up. Oh, here we go. This is the first time we see some cooldown reduction nerfs. I'm assuming we're going to see more. So this is around 3%. No, what am I saying? 3%. What? 20%? 20%. Yeah. All right. Let's continue. Extra stamina fire reduced. Healing right health bonus reduced. Okay. Healing Nova nerfed a little bit. Enchantress Bear, another cooldown reduction nerf. Finally, dude, we talked about this, how Return Fire, because it now upgrades from extra regen, it didn't have any of the actual stats from extra regen. Now it does, which makes me think that Return Fire can actually be like a pretty good surprise buy pretty early on. Because you'd be surprised how good Return Fire is in early duels. And earlier in the game, there's a lot more 1v1 duels than later in the game when team fights happen. So I actually just think this makes Return Fire a pretty decent early game item. So that's cool. That's cool. Rest of Locket cooldown buffed. Veil Walker cooldown increased. Also, yeah, this makes sense. Veil Walker was so strong. Like, I built it on almost every hero. They also brought back the old Majestic Leap. Now you can do the slam down again. So for those who don't know, a while ago they nerfed the cooldown of Majestic Leap, and they also nerfed the ability to slam down if you get shot. So that means that you jump up with Majestic Leap and then you can reactivate it to go down again. But until now, there was a period where if you take damage, you couldn't actually reactivate it to go down. Now Pocket and Warden is gonna start buying Leap again. It's also good for my Lash build. I've started playing more Lash recently and actually started using Majestic Leap because of the grapple nerfs. Okay, Metal Skin duration increased, but now they also reduced the stamina movement distance. So this is like the same treatment, in my opinion, like they do with Sharpshooter. They want items to be like more unique and have more negative drawbacks too, so it specializes a playstyle more. I like this. All right, our Rescue Beam range reduced. This is an insane item, so that makes sense. Debuff remover buff increased from 4 to 5 seconds. Heal on active increased from 10% to 300 health. Okay, actually a nerf to endgame tanks, but that's all good. Unstoppable now has slow resistance. Ooh, okay, interesting. No longer provides, so this is more cooldown reduction nerfing, but now Leech upgrades from Healbane. Okay, but see, this is something that's been bothering me a little bit, and that is when they make item upgrades, but they also lose an effect. Where's the heal on kill? Because that's what the same issue was with Return Fire, and then they fixed it like a patch later. So I'm wondering if this is the same thing. Does it still have the 350 heal? If it still has the 350 heal, then it's pretty good. Because it definitely was a situation when you make builds with like Shiv, where you build a lot of green items. It was really hard to slot in both Leech and Healbane. So this is, that's good, that's good. Obviously it becomes more expensive, but that's okay. Infuser duration increased. No longer grants 50. Oh, now grants Spirit Shield. Interesting. So might be more likely to put it in Spirit builds. Okay. Withering Whip duration. Oh, they buffed Withering Whip. They also nerfed Slowing Hex. Not really a surprise. They buffed Suppressor. Buffed Decay of it. Okay. Rapid Reach cooldown. Okay, so more cooldown reduction nerf. Ethereal Shift now allows you to float around slowly. What the hell? Silence Cliff. Oh shit. Silence Cliff now pierces through all enemies in the path, and projectile and collision size increased by 40%. That's a big buff. So when you're fighting in like enclosed spaces, you can like silence 2-3 players. Because they recently nerfed Silence Cliff a lot where it was now a projectile. Interesting. And this is the least unsurprising nerf of the Sentry. Arcane Surge got reduced. Still one of the best items in the game. 18% is still insane for heroes like Dynamo. Mystic Slow buffed, same as Suppressor because this one upgrades to that one. Surge of Power buffs. Stun duration reduced, but then stun now lasts 1 second longer against airborne targets based on how high off the ground they are. Oh crap. Wait, so if you knock down Vindicta and Talon in the air, the stun is twice as long almost as the original knockdown. Yeah. Get him. You know what? I like this. You know why I like this? Because most heroes in this game have pretty apparent item counters. But sometimes the issue was that when you popped knockdown on Grey Talon or Vindicta, they could just fly away. And the stun would like not really do that much. So at least this... Oh, this is also a huge buff to Bebop. Because sometimes it's... If you knock down someone far away and you try to hook them, sometimes the knockdown stun runs out. Now you can guarantee a long-range hook with that knockdown. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't change Cold Front. I still think that's one of the most broken items in the game. All good, all good. Refresher cast delay increased from 0.3 to 0.6 seconds. So I believe the reason why this change happened is because they don't want the double Dynamo ult. They don't want the double Dynamo ult to happen instantly. It's too much. So now people have a chance to roll away, warp stun away, use ability, use stuns. That's just too OP. So basically what this means is that for all the heroes that use the refresher just to refresh their abilities, so let's say you use your ult, you're in a fight, all your abilities are on cooldown, then you pop your refresher so you can go straight in once more. It's completely unchanged. But if you're a Dynamo and you have like 5 people in your ult, You can't just pop refresher and then keep the 5 people in your ult again. Now you have like a 0.6 second window to get out of the second black hole. I think that's a pretty good nerf because it doesn't change anything other than the extremely oppressive double ult right after each other. Yeah, Diviner's Kevlar, another cooldown reduction. There's a lot less cooldown reduction now. This is great because this is a nerf to pocket and we hate pocket. So let's just get that out of the way. Ability duration increased to 10% to kind of, so they're just like rebalancing the item to be more towards duration. Okay. Reverb damage increased to 50%. This is also a result of Reverb getting that big nerf to the slow, only applying to one target instead of all the targets. So that makes sense. This item isn't bought that much anymore as it used to be. Magic carpet duration increased for 1 second. Okay. Next up, we have hero changes. Abrams bullet damage decreased. Spirit siphon, spirit scaling increased. Okay, so they're trying to make Spirit Abrams slightly better and Bullet Abrams slightly worse. That makes sense because I haven't seen a single Spirit Abrams actually work. So maybe this happens now. Uppercut now only locks enemies out of air control for a max of 0.5 seconds, down from 1 second. This is a pretty big nerf to gun bop. That's actually a pretty big nerf to gun bop because they kind of rely on just like channeling perfect like tracking throughout the air on the uppercut. This is going to mean that silence glyph and slowing hex is more necessary because they're not locked out of air control for that long. Other than that, not like any huge changes. Hook tier 1 now also improves melee damage. Wait, so now, oh my god, wait a minute. You can now get 90% extra melee damage with hook and uppercut because it's 30% from hook tier 1 and 60% from uppercut tier 2. You know, we did a melee bebop build a long time ago. Interesting. Wait, does that mean that hook buffs uppercut too? Because uppercut is melee damage. So if you hook and then uppercut, then the uppercut's also going to do 30% more damage, right? Interesting. Dynamo fixed, okay. Quality of life, quantum entanglement not deselecting. Kinetic pulse tier 2 now affects melee damage too. So they're adding more melee damage to abilities, but they're also adding more melee resist to items, interestingly. Oh yeah, dude. Look at that juicy cooldown on Dynamo ult. 215 seconds plus a lot less cooldown reduction on items. This is probably going to result in like, wow, that makes sense. It's just such a good ability. It makes sense. Oh, Great Talent's immobilizing trap renamed to Spirit Snare now applies a curse debuff for 1.75 seconds to all enemies in the radius when it triggers instead of a tether. So it becomes 2.25 seconds. You can now shoot charge shot onto Spirit Snare center to trigger it to detonate immediately in a 30% increased radius. And you can also secure orbs. Wait, so if Dynamo is ulting, you can toss a trap onto it and then charge shot it in the air? Holy! Talon's trap went from like the worst to one of the best abilities in the game. Let me see here. Smoke bomb tier 1 sprint reduced. Smoke bomb tier 3 charge time reduced. Fixation not working correctly with debuff resistance. Fixation damage reduced. Sleep state no longer disables the target. Oh, this is the same as ethereal shift. It instead allows them to move at 2 meters per second and be unable to take any other action, including stamina, mantle. Sleep dagger takes effect immediately rather than a brief delay. Okay. Fixed creep, sometimes attacking and waking. Okay. Bullet dance cooldown increased. Dude, I love all these cooldown changes, man. Bullet dance tier 1 reduced. This is also big. I know a lot of haste players complain about this. The freeze in the middle of the ult. All right. Flame dash cooldown reduced from 40 to 35 seconds. Flame dash tier 3 CD changed from 19 to 15. Flame dash tier 3 now also makes the ability charged. Oh my god! That's crazy. And spirit scaling increased in after. Wow, Infernus is actually back. Holy. Wait, he's gonna get 3 flame dashes, no? He's gonna get 3 flame dashes with rapid recharge with a 20-second cooldown. Oh my god, that's crazy. The biggest downside of playing Infernus was that you would use flame dash plus your ult to just go in there, and then you wouldn't have any way of escaping. Now you can flame dash in, ult, shoot a little bit, and flame dash back out. Wow, that's crazy. Ivy, melee damage and growth reduced by 15%. Okay, starting health reduced. Watchers count and fixed to replicate healing when you're full health. Okay, quality of life change. Stone form now shows the Ivy player a visible radius indicator for where a hero will hit. This is good, nice change. Kudzu bomb now grows on the ground if it hits Geo instead of floating in the air. That's nice because sometimes you just see like kudzu on top of a box and just like floating in the air. Airdrop damage reduced. Phantom strike fix. Ooh, now it's easier to use it indoors because you can significantly reduce your upwards momentum. Okay. So mostly quality of life stuff and a small melee nerf. Frost grenade also reduces stamina regeneration during the slow duration. Frost shelter now creates some key up. This is nice because Calvin ult is affected by ability range, but you wouldn't actually know how big the frozen shelter was. So now what you can do, this is a big quality of life change actually. You can like run forward and you can hold your ult key down to see the indicator and then you can release it. So it's going to be much easier to actually hit good ults. That's good. Cooldown. Okay. It's the same as usual. A little bit up there and a little bit down there. Okay. Malice can now secure orbs. Oh boy. Wait, Malice can secure orbs. That's pretty sick. Tier 2 changed from 10% minus health to fire rate. Oh, that used to be the tier 3. Tier 3 changed from fire rate and spirit assist to silence enemies in 15-meter radius for 3 seconds. Oh, so they're removing the silence from the life drain. Ability becomes charged and grants 1+ charge. So now you get multiple life drains on different targets with no charge time. And the silence is on the ult. So you're not going to be able to be as good against pocket and stuff, but you're going to have much more survivability because if you're in the middle of a fight, you can actually life drain multiple targets at the same time. All right, Lash, give me some good news. Ground Strike tier to tier 1 cooldown improved. Death Slam cooldown slightly nerfed. That's the same as other heroes. Death Slam channel time increased, so it's easier to look for targets to grab. Impact radius increased, cone angle increased, cast range increased, and then cooldown is moved to tier 2 talent. And then tier 3 is changed to impact area stun for 1 second. Oh my god, Lash is back. Oh, lordy lord. So Lash is getting the same treatment as the other ults where he used to get 56% seconds cooldown reduction on his ult. And now it's moved to a tier 2 talent instead and you get 30%. That's so definitely a much longer cooldown on the ult now. But his ult stuns for 1 second. And this is affected by duration extension too. So if you have like... Actually, he doesn't really buy duration. Actually, he does buy Diviner's Kevlar, so that's going to be a 10% increase. So 1.1 seconds done when you have Kevlar. The reason why this is super big is because when you ult someone very high up, sometimes they get to roll out of your ground strike. Or even worse, if you're playing against Dynamo, and let's just face it, there's always a Dynamo, he will just instantly quantum entanglement all the people that get hit by your ult out straight away. So now you should be able to not only AoE stun everybody, you should also be able to hit a ground strike and a code front before they can react. This is a major buff to a Lash because there are so many heroes that can just get out of the actual slam. So this kind of ensures that if you hit a good ult, they will also actually be punished when they land. And this also means that Mystic Reverb is going to be even better because it's almost going to guarantee that most of the people in the impact area will be hit by the Reverb. Because it guarantees a stun, which means that it guarantees the slow afterwards from Cold Front and Ground Strike and Flog. So they can barely move, which almost guarantees the mist. Oh, this is big. All right. McInnes, mini turrets HP per boon increased. Mini turrets no longer limit the damage they take. Oh, thank God, because this was so damn annoying. Mini turrets now have a minimum lifetime of 4 seconds. If they're killed during this time, they'll be marked for death regardless of what happens during that time. Okay, so you can kill it very fast, but it's still gonna take 4 seconds for it. Okay, that's I can see that. That's like a nice meat in the middle. Fire reduced. Good. Yeah, this was just too strong. So, but they were testing out a new feature and they were figuring out how to do it. So that's fair. That's what. All right. Let me see here. Fire Scarabs now applies its drain over 4 seconds instead of front loaded, but no longer restricts you from hitting the same target. Oh. Wait. So if you're in a 1v1, you can continuously Scarab someone for 8 seconds. And it's going to continuously drain their health instead of just like a 1 hit. Traveler tier 2 changed from 56 seconds cooldown to grant ally traveler benefits. If cast on an enemy, it will give a bonus to the closest ally hero within 30 meters. Does this mean that they just casually made the ult 56 seconds longer cooldown? Because I don't see anywhere where normally they would remove this and they would add the cooldown to a different talent. Did they just straight up remove it? Oh boy, you got hit hard, bro. Holy. It makes sense though, I get it. It's part of the total cooldown reduction nerf. Mow and Krill Burrow is no longer affected by shoulder charge. Interesting. I think that makes sense actually with the spectral wall change too. I always find it funny how like he can just charge you out of the burrow because other abilities can't do that. So this makes Mow and Krill much stronger against an Abrams. Spectral wall no longer hits you while you're burrowed. Score now heals instantly instead of 1 second. They probably just added the grace period, I'm assuming. All right, let's see. What do we have for Paradox this time? Literally nothing. Just a small nerf to the stun duration. This doesn't change anything. Paradox is so strong. You know what? The thing about Paradox is because she's not strong in low elo, they just keep her like this. I think she's busted. Can't lie. Okay. The moment we've all waited for. Pocket. Health grow reduced. Thank you. Enchanter's health satchel tier 1 increased. Satchel escape duration reduced from 2 to 1.5. Oh, so that's how long you can stay in the suitcase for? Okay. Oh, and then it comes back there, of course. So literally nothing changed. Flying cloak duration increased from slower speed, same overall distance. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. What did they do with Affliction? Now immediately deals 18% of current HP on Affliction, but DPS is reduced drastically. Spirit power scaling reduced. Range reduced. Tier 3 reduced. Increases range by 5 minutes. Initial damage by 5%. Okay. So it does much less damage overall than before, and you have to invest talents in it to be decent. 7 Storm Cloud now grants you a secondary ability, Lightning Strike. It's a one-time use AoE ability. You can target anywhere in your ult range. After a 2-second delay, it releases a vertical lightning strike onto a 6-meter area, knocking enemies away from that radius and dealing 150 damage with 1.5 spirit scaling. There's a visual indicator for enemies that area is about to be hit. What? Stormcloud tier 3 now allows it to float around at 2 meters. Wait, so you can basically, because one thing that's very common with 7 ult is that people just hide behind like the smallest fucking wall. And now you not only can you move closer to them, you can also bump them out in the open with a lightning strike. Shiv, some quality of life. All right, Vindicta, health reduced, 550 to 525. Crow, familiar projectile increased. Stake cooldown reduced. Okay. Stake tier 3 now increases capture radius. Assassination time between charges nerf. Thank God, man. I'm sorry, but this ult is just so damn strong, man. Assassinate base damage reduction, tier 2 damage reduction. Okay, good. We like that. Sorry, Vindicta mains, but I just think that Assassinate is just so damn strong. Viscous. What did they do to the goo boy this time? Visual parry cooldown bug with Puddle Punch. Cube cooldown reduced. Cube cast range reduced. Puddle Punch radius increased. Puddle Punch slow reduced. Puddle Punch slow reduced. Oh no. Oh, fuck. All right, guys, it's time to learn how to parry the Puddle Punch because this shit is gonna hurt. Oh my God. Gooball damage, spirit power scaling reduced. Gooball damage tier 2 reduced. Okay, so they reduced the Gooball damage and they buffed the Puddle Punch because everybody was playing the Gooball build now ever since it scaled with reach. Okay. Damn, that's gonna... Okay, Warden, Fire Red, Spirit Power, Scaling reduced. Last Stand Resistance reduced. Now only goes on cooldown for 20 seconds when interrupted. This makes sense because Last Stand has a long-ass cooldown. It just felt so bad that like a 2-minute cooldown just because you got stunned once. Last Stand Tier 2 now also reduces cooldown. Tier 3 changed from cooldown to bullet and spirit resistance during channel and 2.5 second duration. Okay. So overall, just like tons of cooldown changes. I'm very curious to see how these ones play out. All right, then we have Wraith. This is an important one because my duo Red, he plays Wraith all the time. Bullet damage increased. Spirit damage per bullet now is a default spirit power scaling. Reduced spirit power scaling. Oh, that's going to be the same. It's just half of it is on tier 2. Full auto tier 3 changed from 30% bullet lifesteal to 20% bullet and spirit lifesteal. Ooh, okay. So you get lifesteal from the cards and the Tesla bullets. Telekinesis cast time reduced from 0.7 to 0.4 and increased projectile speed. This is gonna feel a lot better. Now briefly lifts the enemy and then slams them to the ground and leaves the target with 2.5 seconds of silence and disarm. Okay, So it's a much shorter stun, but it's still a silence and a disarm, except now you can run away and you can warp stone and stuff. Increased silence and disarm. Tier 3 now causes the projectile to bounce to another nearby hero. Okay, we have to test this. I'm not sure how strong this is, but it has to be tested because this is definitely a big quality of life improvement, the projectile speed and the cast time. I'm just not sure how good it is. On paper, it looks good though. At the same time as it looks good, I think it's gonna be less frustrating to play against because those like shadow weave builds where you would just like come out of nowhere, stun you for 3 seconds and do like 2,000 damage with cards is not really gonna work. Okay, Flying Strike Tier 3 now also lets you grapple to ally heroes. Okay, cast time reduced. No longer has a 0.6 post cast time. Also increases resist by. Not really any like big changes. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure about this. It's not, I don't think it's a big deal. The post cast time is a big deal, I think, because she gets like stuck in animation and she can't do anything. I think reactive barrier should still work on Wraith, by the way. So this is gonna help a lot, right? Because she kind of is stuck in animation a little bit when she can still be killed. All right, okay. The first thing we need to check out is Raven. Oh my God, look at this guy. Does he shoot through his umbrella? Oh my God. He shoots through his umbrella. It's a Kingsman. Why does this guy look so sick? Oh, we haven't even gone through the abilities. Let me see. Throw a concussion grenade that reduces enemy's turn rate. Deal bonus damage with your gun and melee attacks when hitting an enemy in the back. Oh my God. Okay, I see. Oh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait, it lowers your sensitivity too, bro. That's interesting. Okay, so what is this? Use your umbrella to catch a gust of winds that lifts you back. Yo! Use your umbrella to catch a gust of wind that lifts you backwards. You then charge up your umbrella to fire a projectile that explodes on impact. Yo! Let me see. So can I press it again then? Oh my God. Umbrella maneuver. Not yet implemented. Okay. Temporarily boost your fire rates. Okay, so this is a placeholder because this is Wraith's passive. Okay. What about the ult? Activate your relic. Enemy heroes nearby have slowed movement and dashes and receive damage over time when looking towards you. If enemies look at you long enough, they get cursed. Let me see. Yeah, yo, look at me, bitch. Yo, look at me. Ha! Wow. Interesting. Okay, this, you know what? When this hero comes out, I might have to... But the fire rate slow feels ass, though. I'm not gonna lie. Your one passive is always active. You always do 70% increased damage when hitting people in the back. Whoa. Okay. The next up we need to test was the new parry sound. Oh my God. Let's just try this with one item.
Bring your enemies low.
Sharpshooter only. Carbine headshot, one item.
Accelerating time.
429. Flex slot.
Your
Mystic
enemies
shot.
will curse your name.
Speeding up.
Oh yeah, there we go. 1,350. And without sharpshooter.
Time to make my move.
986. Okay. We had to test bebops. It should work in the uppercut too. 82. 63. Wow. Okay. If you go full melee build now, how much damage are we talking? What's my melee damage looking? Let me see what else are we testing. The talent trap.
Let's see what you catch, my friend.
Okay, so now you can charge shot it. But how fast can you do it if someone's running by? How easy is it
Who
to...
doesn't love a surprise?
Okay.
Laying the trap. Trap out.
It's not that hard. In the middle of a fight, you're literally like...
This is the perfect spot.
And when you're flying, it's probably gonna be much easier to hit it too.
Setting snare.
Oh yeah, that is so easy. Okay, and then we wanna test sleep darts. So now the sleep dart's supposed to happen instantly.
Good night.
Okay. But now it moves slowly. Huh.
Nap time.
See that? And then ethereal shift. Now you're supposed to be able to move. Dude, this item is actually... I don't know why I don't buy this item more often, because it gives you spirit assist, movement speed, and spirit power for 5 seconds after you've used it. I should buy this more often. I almost never buy it, I can't lie. Flame Dash. Infernus.
Can't be put to good use.
So rapid recharge.
Bought that off a Knickerbocker that was about to get
3
his legs broken.
flame dashes.
Burning a path. Try to keep up.
Okay. I see. You get one back by the time you've used the other 3. Nah, bro. Not a lot of people don't know this, but did you guys know that if you place the afterburn effect on a target,
This is what I'm known for.
you can refresh the afterburn with any ability? So what this means is that, okay, so let's reset our cooldowns here. Let's do an example, okay? Let's say you have like, you know, the typical duration extender on
Go
this
out
guy,
there
right?
and impose your will.
So you, and then you have toxic bullets, and you put the debuff on this guy. Okay, now he's burning,
And away we go.
right?
On the move. Incinerating.
I haven't shot this guy for like half a minute, and he still got afterburn on him. So now you can like, now you just like apply afterburn on them once, and then you just charge around to reapply it. Okay, and then we have,
You see, not everyone can handle the weight.
dude, stun enemies in the landing zone for 1 second. It's wild. Also curious with my build now, what's the cooldown on the ult? It's still 67 seconds. It's literally just like 10 seconds longer than before.
They're about to learn that their arms are too short.
So.
I'm coming, baby. You can give up whenever you want.
That's such a big change, holy. And then we gotta look at 7. That's so cool. And then allows movement control. Okay, so. Wait. Low key, 7 might be kind of back. This makes me want to play 7 again. Dude, when this game first came out, I was like running the Majestic
the
Leap
last
ult build a
one
lot, and I was having so much fun with it. All right, and then we have, dude, this is so much changes this time. Pocket ult. Pocket ult now does 18% instant. Still has healing reduction. Okay, so this guy has a lot of health, so this might not be... How much?
They can't last forever.
Okay, so there's a big burst, and then much less damage over time after. And then it's Wraith ult. Let's see how fast that is now.
And up they
Oh!
go.
And then how close is the bounce? Does it say? If this guy stands here.
Take them down.
Huh. You're still disarmed and silent. You know what? Just makes it more skill-based. You can't just run someone down. That was all the changes in the patch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments down below what you think is the most overpowered character in this patch and what changes you liked and what you didn't, and I'll see you in the next video.